Alright, so in this video I will be doing a full review of the Dreaming Way Tarot deck by Rome Choi. In one of the videos I posted previously, I did talk a little bit about the Dreaming Way. I did a partial review of it, didn't go to all the aspects of it I wanted to talk about, so today I will be doing a full review. And I also decided that you probably want to see the cards more rather than my face talking, since this is a card review. And it's important that you see the cards. Alright, so Dreaming Way Tarot. It's a really great deck. I love it. So this picture you see here is the High Priestess card from the deck. And I'll just talk about the artwork a little bit. I'll just show you some of my favorite cards. So it's Strength, the Sun, and the Fool. So one thing I love about the artwork is that it has this semi-Victorian, semi-modern, kind of fairy tale-esque kind of art style. It's a deck that is based on the Rider-Waite with its own reconfigurations and reinterpretations. But for the most part, it is based on Rider-Waite. So if you're familiar with the Rider-Waite deck, then you won't be, the symbolism will be easily accessible. So if that's something you're worried about. So like I said, the artwork it looks like something out of a storybook. So that's one thing that really speaks to me because I really value the storytelling element of tarot, and when I do my tarot readings for me or for myself or for others, I usually come up with a story first, and then I go into interpretations. So like, that's one thing I really love about this deck. It looks like, you know, these characters being portrayed, you know, in these cards, they look like characters from a storybook. So just to show you what I mean. I mean, like, this is true for all tarot decks. Every card kind of encapsulates a moment. It looks like a scene from a story or a movie, but it's just especially this deck because I love fantasy literature, so this is something that really speaks to me. It just looks like it's a scene out of a story I would read. So, you know, like, my brain is hardwired to notice that kind of thing. That's why just personally, my intuition just flows effortlessly. So I'm just laying down some cards so you can kind of see, you know, the artwork. Yeah, so I'll just keep this video really concise because I did a previous one and I was pretty much just rambling. Alright, so that's enough for the artwork. I'm pretty sure you can just look at more images on Google. I want to show you how the elements or the suits are depicted in this deck. So I decided to show you all the aces. So there's the Ace of Wands. It's not much different from the Rider-Waite deck. Ace of Swords, you know, just in a more stylized manner. And then Ace of Pentacles, also kind of a more stylized way. And this is what I love about the most about this deck, is the cups, the suit of cups. This is also a suit. This is the suit of cups is the suit that kind of speaks to me the most. In any tarot deck, right? Because I'm a very intuitive, I'm emotional, I'm spiritual. But anyway, so I just really love this kind of modern polka dot reinvention of the suit of cups, and also just the imagery of water flowing out. You know, it's just like a stylized way of drawing water, but I just really like that feeling. It's like, instead of looking like real water, you know, there's this stylized wave that's that kind of just like, you can easily just think that it could represent something else. You know, it could be your emotions flowing out, so it's not just the mundane everyday water, if you know what I mean. So these are the four suits, the four aces, and I just wanted to show you all the court cards as well because sometimes that's a concern. So what I like about the court cards, and you know, court cards can sometimes be really hard to read. What I like about the court cards is, so you see all the characters or personalities depicted on the cards, and each card has kind of their own patterns and little details that kind of tell you what the card means or what this character represents. So for example, the Page of Pentacles, I always see Page of Pentacles as this kind of student who's processing information, who has like his own ideas, and then he's kind of about to set out on this journey where he or she realizes his goals. So that's very clear on the on the Page of Pentacles. This character, she is kind of reading a book, so she's like absorbing, digesting information, kind of thinking ideas of his own in a really down to earth way, right? So, so same thing with Knight of Cups. You can see how his boots mirror the patterns on his boots, mirror the polka dot on the cups. So you can tell that he's someone who's oriented by his emotions, right? Because he's kind of wearing his emotions around his feet. And Queen of Wands, you see sunflowers on the back of her chair. So this is true for all the queens and kings. On their chair, there will be a specific pattern that kind of defines who they are. So Queen of Wands for me, she is also like she's always someone very social, very bright, very brightening. She gives light, right, to people. So that's why, I think the sunflower is a very fitting symbol for her, to be, to put on the back of her chair. And then King of Swords, he's kind of the grand strategist, right? So on the back of his chair, you can see clockworks and cogs on his chair. And just the way he's sitting, he's like, I got this, kind of thing. So that's the thing I like about Accord cards, is the kind of subtle symbolism that's embedded in each individual card. Okay, so I was talking about reinterpretations earlier. So I want to show you a few cards that are slightly different than the original Rider-Waite. So for example, this is the Four of Swords from the Rider-Waite deck. And this is the Four of Swords from the Dreaming Way deck. So in the Dreaming Way, it doesn't have that meditative quality, right, as the Rider-Waite. You see this man lying down, he's like meditating, he's thinking, he's resting, maybe dreaming too. So kind of exploring his inner universe a bit. But in the Dreaming Way, it's kind of like this character is just at a resting stop. He's in the middle of his journey, he's tired, he needs to take a break, he needs to regain clarity, he needs to look at the situation again, kind of thing. But the card implies that there's more to be done. He's just resting by a tree. His journey is not over yet. So that's one thing I really like about this reinterpretation, is that this implication of, this is not the end. This is not just like, oh, you're tired, this is like the end, and after everything you're just resting and thinking about it. This kind of implies that life is a journey, right? And that's a motif I always go back to when I read tarot cards. Alright, so that's the Four of Swords. And I would like to show you the World. This is the World from the Rider-Waite, and this is the World from Dreaming Way tarot. They even sound similar now. Okay, so in the Dreaming Way, you see this kind of, I wouldn't say he's old, he's certainly of age. Well, he's at this age where he's at this age where he's accomplished, he's comfortable with who he is, he's comfortable with what he has done, he's completely content and satisfied with who he is and where he is right now in life. So I feel like that's what the world represents. And just because it's depicted in a way that's closer to our reality, right? Instead of this kind of mystical, symbolic, metaphorical depiction of what a world means. This is closer to our reality. So personally, I think that's more relatable. But it does take away that mystical element. So that's how you read cards, and that might be a concern. But it's just that one card, once you settle into it, it's not that big of a deal, I feel. So another one is Wheel of Fortune. So again, this is from the Rider-Waite, and this is from Dreaming Way. So for me, Wheel of Fortune is about relinquishing control. It's about accepting that there are just things you can't control in life. You just have to go with the flow, and instead of wanting the world to change with you, you change yourself to accommodate the world, kind of thing. So this is kind of cool. There's this kind of modern looking angel, wearing leggings and stockings and everything. So she's this angelic figure. She's spinning the Wheel of Fate. So I thought it's pretty cool. It's kind of like she's tossing things your way. You just have to adjust to it because you're not her. You can't control what's being thrown at you. So that's a really cool idea of the Wheel of Fortunes. Alright, so yeah, so that's it in terms of the cards. And I just wanted to tell you why I like this deck. Well, obviously this is extremely personal preference. I love fantasy. This artwork is like just just like hits me right in the heart, and I just love it on a personal level. But the other thing I like about it is that it's really easy to tell like which card is which. Like every card I feel is so distinct. You can just like, if I just look at it from afar, I will know that this is the Four of Swords. I will know this is the Wheel of Fortunes. Maybe it's also because the artwork speaks to me on a very personal level, but you can really learn these cards like really fast. Like each card is kind of just imprinted on your memory. I just feel like each card is very distinct. I think maybe it's because they try to change up the fashion a little bit too. You know, that's one thing I like about this card. Like, I really love that shirt. I'm just saying. So yeah, it's just something really beneficial when you're doing a spread, because you want to know, when you just kind of take an overlook, like a general look at it, you want to know which card is which, right? And even just like when I was doing my first and second readings with this card, I can just really, I mean, I still have to look at like which card is it, but afterwards it's just like I just know which card is which. So I just feel like this card has a really great sense of individuality. That's how I feel. Because personally, I just really want to look at the cards and know what they are in the spread, right? That's just much easier to read. Yeah, so just kind of an extension of that, because they're all very individual artistically. Visually, you know, you can tell like they won't blend in together. If that's one thing. That's a really big thing for me. Like, I can't read cards that blend together. I did a review earlier about the Medieval Cat Tarot, and that's just... I really like that deck, but because everything looks copper-ish, and it just becomes really hard to read because you can't tell the cards apart. Yeah. I don't think there's anything I dislike about this deck. Obviously, it's my favorite deck, but if I were to say that there could be a downside of this deck is if you don't connect with fairy tales or storytelling or fantasy, you know, the way I do, you probably can't relate to the cards much. That's, again, personal preference. And because some of the cards, like the World or the Wheel of Fortunes, it's depicted in a way that's closer to our reality. So there's this kind of mundane, kind of everyday feeling to it. And that might take away from your reading if you're someone who likes to read into like mythology or legend or the bigger picture or the mystical feeling of tarot. You know, you're the person that like to tap into that kind of energy. This deck is probably not for you, I would say, just because that kind of everyday quality, you know, like kind of like in the middle of the day kind of feeling, right? So that's like the only thing I can think of. Yeah, so I think that's everything. So while I'll continue to ramble, I'll just lay down random cards so you can take a look. Yeah, so I can't think of anything else to say about this deck. I just love this deck so much, and I've never, you know, I have like 20 something decks right now, you know, oracle cards and tarot cards. This is the deck. Like, you know, I tried Steampunk Tarot too. I really like that deck because it also has a really strong storytelling element, and I'm probably gonna post a review of it soon. But yeah, it's like there's nothing like this deck. I'll just keep laying down cards. You probably won't see them, and I'll just keep talking about how awesome this deck is. Okay, so sorry it's out of order. You know, I didn't have time to put everything in order for this review. Okay, I have like 10 cards left. Okay, this is all the cards. If you want to just take a closer look, you can just hit pause. Sorry, I don't have an HD camera. I'm just using my laptop's webcam, built-in camera. Alright, so that's all the cards. Actually, no, I have a few left, but those cards I already showed you earlier in the video. So that's the entire deck. And I know you can buy this deck on Amazon or your local bookstore. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this deck. Oh, and also that's the back of, you know, the cards. It's kind of greenish with dots, all strung together. It's really nice looking, and yeah, so thanks for watching, and I will post more tarot deck reviews soon. Peace.